What's up? What's up? What's up, my good people? This is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. I'm your host, Glenn Glasper, affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime. And I'm excited again, as you all probably know from the description, we have one of my favorite people that's going to be on the show with us again today to drop some real serious knowledge, wisdom, insight, expertise, all of those great things today. We're going to give it to you like we always give it to you, real, and because this is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. So hang tight with us. We'll be right back after this quick intro. All right, folks, listen, we're back. Thank you again for joining us. And my guest today is none other than my sister, my friend, my mentor of sorts, my shoulder to cry on when like things get crazy in this business. Somebody that I got a ton of respect for, who always has great wisdom and insight and spiritual guidance to give us in this business, because we all need it. Those of y'all that know, some of you that don't have it, you probably should get it. And we're going to talk about that today as well. So none other than my sister, Miss Casiana Foghis. What's happening?
What's happening? I had to put my little thing down. I got setting up new. You got me last minute.
I know, right?
I was like, I got to set up my. It was like a quick thing. I was in the car. I had to do it.
Wow. Okay. Listen. That's when you know. That's when you know when you got relationship with people that got major love for you. And I thank you. I had a little bit of a situation with my guest that was supposed to come on today. But I'm like, you know what? We were having a conversation, and I said, you know what? The conversation needs to be had. And we'll get into that. But let's talk about what's going on. Let's tell the folks who you are. You know, there might be one or two people that are on here that might not know who you are. They might not recognize you because your star fame is yet to happen.
Well, I am Casiana Foghis of Strategy Group. I am known in the real estate arena. I've been doing it for probably 23. I keep saying it keeps going up. I keep losing count. 21, 22 years in game. I guess I'm not accepting that I'm getting older. But I've been doing this for 20 plus years. And right now, currently in this market, still doing real estate. I've done every facet of real estate, anywhere from commercial to residential to construction to any facet of real estate. Lending, had a mortgage brokerage firm before, appraiser, home inspector, anything, any facet of real estate. I've been part of doing a lot of speaking around the country, doing a lot of speaking on different platforms, just the experience, just to teach the next generation on how to get to this wealth, and really doing a lot of business consulting. Get pulled into business strategy meetings for acquisitions of businesses and companies, and really just on a daily basis, I wake up doing what I love to do, my passion, which is helping people. And while I help people along the way, is building wealth for my family and everybody else that comes along.
Let me sum up what she just said, y'all. And I want to make sure I hear her real good. She said, "Put some respect on her name."
No. See, now, just because I got a big little t-shirt on.
Shout out put some respect on her name. That's what's up.
Yeah. No. I got to do it humbly. You know, pride comes before a man's fall. So I got to take heed to that.
Hey, listen. But I've
been blessed to be in this business.
I have felt that way for some time. I've been, I think humble is a good thing for us to do. It's good to be humble, but I think sometimes, I think people need to recognize. I think people need to recognize what it is, not just who we are. Like we ain't caught up in our ego. We ain't caught up in our ego and who we are and our name and all that. But although the word says He will make your name great, and I believe that has happened for a few of us. But I believe that sometimes people should understand and recognize what it is that we bring to the table in this business. Right now, we don't have our names and lights and stuff like that across the country and all that. But at times, people need to understand that, like, 20 plus years is not just somebody who was, hit or miss. Like we've been in this 20 years plus and doing something. You know what I mean? So it's okay for people to put some respect on our name.
Well, you know what? I thought about our yesterday's conversation when I got off the phone with you. I talked to John and I talked to a couple more people. One thing about it is before I do anything, I've learned throughout the years to self-evaluate first before passing
Mhm.
judgment on a situation. Or sometimes I think God allows certain things to happen to see how
Mhm.
you handle it. And
Right.
the maturity and the growth is really in the way we respond to things that happen to us. I think that's when you can really
Absolutely.
gauge your growth, like your response to things that happen.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
believe that yes, a respect factor should be there. But then I thought about something yesterday when I got off the phone with you because I wanted to make sure I was not operating out of emotions or pride. I had to ask myself, are these people even playing the game that I'm playing?
Mm.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people say they're in real estate, right?
Yeah.
But I made real estate my career and my lifeline as far as what I do on a daily basis, as far as monetary wise. Real estate is not my lifeline spiritually, but this is what
Hmm.
I do to provide for my family, for my dreams, for everything that I have. And I think a lot of people that come into the game, they come into the game to pay bills. They come into the game to probably get out of a situation they're in, and their emotional levels not developed. Was I that when I was younger? Maybe not, because what I mean, are they playing the same game as we are? Okay. Growing up,
Hmm.
I came with a set of rules. There's a unspoken code. There's a level of respect. There's a boundary lines that were set. Where your word meant everything. When you shake your hand, that's better than a
Hmm.
contract or money being exchanged or
Yeah.
anything else. Now, track record also has something to do with it. If you don't know me, you just don't know me. You don't owe me anything. So let me say this: nobody owes us nothing but
True.
to just respect the respect level. But everybody's definition of respect is different. Now,
Mm.
I always say this: what belongs to you belongs to you. And yes, I don't have to make myself known that I'm Michael Jordan of the game. I'm not going to do that, or Kobe Bryant, or whoever you want to. I'm not even going to put myself in that category because you don't even understand what it took to get to this point and what
Yeah.
sacrifices had to be made and the level of loss that I've had in this game, and just even coming back home and realizing everything that's going on. It's a different climate. We're dealing with different people. Atlanta has changed. Nobody's from Atlanta no more.
This is true.
Nobody's from Atlanta no more. So if, yeah, we're talking about respect. We're talking about, but I don't think these people are playing the same games, because if they playing the same game we playing, they'll understand the rules. So therefore, you might be playing this game, but you're on high school level right now mentally. Because there's a lot of high school players that are real good and they could probably go to the NBA right out of high school. But a lot of players get stopped because of their mentality, their emotional level, certain things happen. So yesterday when that situation happened, and I know we're gonna break it down a little bit, but when it happened, I had to check myself as a OG in the game, like we like to say it, and say,
Hmm.
you know what? I didn't take my own advice, because the advice I gave you last time we talked about something similar, I didn't take it. I didn't take it as a teaching moment. I really was kind of flabbergasted, and I was like, "Dang, what did you tell Glenn 3 shows ago?"
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So in the moment, I didn't think about what I told Glenn 3 shows ago. I have to hold myself accountable. I got into my feelings a little bit, and then I was like, "Do you know who I am? Like, if I walk on the prop, whether I get it or not, do you know who I am?" And then that's initially I was like, I can close this deal. Like it's I have a track record of closing deals, but at the same time, I don't expect everybody to know. And I know throughout the show we're gonna talk about it because this is like a couple things I want to point out when it comes to the respect level. Hey man, I all I can say is I don't think people they want to play on this level. And I guess because I'm not Instagram famous or I'm not out on the stage, preaching the gospel of real estate, not taking it back from anybody that's doing it. I'm saying I'm not going that route in my career. And because people look at the likes and the followers and all this other stuff,
Mhm.
it is what it is. But you know what? I think I'm accomplishing what I set out to do is, I hustle to disappear, not to be seen anyway. So hey man, it's working because people I pull up and hey, and the fact that it happened yesterday the way it did, I was like, dang, whatever's around the corner, man, it must be great. I'm actually doing what I said I was gonna do.
I love that. I love that. You brought it full circle to what I was actually going to say, from what you said that time ago, that we hustle to disappear, not to be seen. But I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure people don't misunderstand that just because we're not spending all of our day posting on social media about the things that we're doing doesn't mean that we're sleeping all day, right? It doesn't mean that we're not doing everything, not doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the world we live in now. I get it. People want to see that you're actually doing what you say you're doing, but at the same time, like if I'm doing what I say that I'm doing, how much time I got to post what I'm doing if I'm actually doing it. You know what I mean? Um,
It's true, but see, your approach is different because I know a lot of people that post that get into the money. They get into the money in a different approach. So that's why I don't
mhm,
want to take away from that, and I understand that. But I encourage people that can create content and actually get the education out there. I support anybody, man. There's some talented people out there that can deliver this news a little bit better than we probably can, or whatever the case is. To me, I
mhm,
always say if you preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, whether you do it in a rap song, whether you do it in a pulpit, whether you do it on the corner, as long as the message gets out there, amen. As long as it's is led by the Spirit, man, do what you do. But at the end of the day, I think the new generation, and like you said, we have a responsibility to tell the next generation what you see on Instagram is what we want you to see, and what the next
mhm.
person wants you to see. It's not real. It's real life, but it's kind of not real life. It's kind of
Right.
crazy. I use social media platform to push an agenda of hope, real estate, Jesus. Let's get to it. There's a better life than
Yeah,
and if you can get out of a rut, because everybody's going through something. And not
true.
everything is what you see is perfect on social media either. Just like the
Mm.
day I had yesterday, it was just like if I was to put that on social media, more people could relate to what I went through yesterday than what we're doing right now.
And that's really the point. That's really the point that I wanted to hammer home. Now I know, like, and I agree with you. Now there are some people that can do what we do, and they still have the ability to share it, and that's all well and good. My point was saying, don't think just because we don't post it that it's not happening.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Right. Like, because it's happening. And this is something I had to start to begin to embrace more and more. Like my team tells me, like, you need more content, you need more content, you need more content. I'm like, okay. Like even, for me doing what I'm doing, traveling back and forth, doing different things, like stuff like I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm in the zone of who can I help, whose lives can I help change as a result of me touching them. But what they
Mm-hmm.
also said is that if they don't know that if people can't see that you're capable of doing that for many different people, if they can't see it, then you're not touching as many people that you're assigned to. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to think like, I know that's a word that you would use. I had to say, wait a minute, maybe I am assigned to more people that I can actually touch. And I'm assigned
Mm-hmm.
to people that can actually see me. So lately, my content has been a little bit better, not because of what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing what I do, but they're taking it and they're actually repurposing it. So, in that respect, I appreciate having somebody that can do that for me because I'm not the greatest at it. But things like this is us being on this show. This is content. Like this is content creation. This is something that I've been doing this for wow, going on 5 years almost now, and I had no idea what something like this would eventually evolve into. But there's so many people that say to me, "Thank you for doing the show. Thank you for giving the content. Thank you for And it's like those are the things that I'm reminded of on Wednesdays at 11:05 when a guest tells me that they're not going to be able to make it, and I call my sister at 11:10, like, can you get on the show with me? I'm reminded of those people that are really looking for this information. They're looking for this show. So at the end of the day, I got to make this happen. And it's for
Yeah.
me because I get a chance to see it again. But I know that this is for so many other people that will tap into this content. And the insight that we provide and the different topics that we talk about are going to be great for people to learn from. So I get it.
So let me
And
say
again,
this
thank
to
you
do.
again for jumping on here with me.
Oh man, it's always a pleasure, and I want to encourage you for something for this. Um, there's Olympians that train every day to be just a split second faster,
Mhm.
and years for that
Absolutely.
10-second race. They
Absolutely.
practice years. So just because you might have not made it to the Olympics on the Olympic stage yet, you're practicing. If it takes 10 years to get
Mhm.
to 1 million views, or if it takes 10 days to get to it, all you need is one. And this is what I say,
Absolutely.
a lot
Absolutely.
of people see the success now and say 20 years later, this was what it is.
Mm.
Bro, it didn't take just the couple weeks or the couple months or whatever the case is. And sometimes even we get a little frustrated because we have been in the game for so long and we've had a
Mm.
couple setbacks and we're now back or doing this and doing that and trying to kind of feel our way through this wave of new media and so many people get into the
Mhm.
bag with the social media aspects and doing content and all that. But one thing, me and you discussed this before, and with John and several of our people that we talk to, we can get on our phones and make $100,000 without getting on social media. I'm talking about in a day or in
Anytime.
a week, anytime. So knowing that, I don't have to, and this is what I keep telling people: the validation does not come from the people. The validation already came before I even got on because I stay ready. You know why I stay ready? Because
Mm.
I'm constantly experiencing this. I don't care about talking about the dirty, the clean, the every whatever went down. I'm not. I'm a human being. I experience things on a regular basis, and I'm not bigger than anybody. I'm not bigger than anybody that's been doing this for a day or somebody that's been doing it for 30 years. I do believe, like you said, sometimes people gotta pay a certain type of respect, but it's that just shows me the level of confidence they have in their business. I don't know what's going on in their personal life. I don't know these things that are going on. So at the end of the day, I don't I don't put a lot of weight. I don't even put expectations on people anymore. The
Mm.
expectations I put on myself because I've been let down so much by individuals, especially in business, where I don't take anything. Like until I see the deal close, you can tell me you got $100 million in the bank, bro. It's not in my bank account. Like I don't. Okay, good for you. I don't even care how you
Right.
got it. As long that's not my business. That's not. I'm not sitting here trying to lead you to the water. I'm not doing that. Like I am content. But like what ended up happening yesterday with this contract not being honored, whether it was a misunderstanding on because a lot of things get lost in trash. Like whatever it was a checkup moment for me. It was like,
Mm.
okay, Casiana, your level of brand that you have out here. You know the deals that you're closing. Let it go. Some other
Right.
deals are gonna come
Right.
back or
Right.
whatever. It's just gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I'm
True.
folding a lot. I got a lot of napkins folded right now. My stacks are high. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the folding business these days because as soon as you show me, and character's consistent, how something starts is how it finishes. So if you start with me on some crazy, I know the whole deal's gonna be like that. It's a wave. It's a lot of people involved, and I've learned that throughout the years. Is how something starts is how it finishes, and I stay focused on what I'm supposed to do. If I gave it my all and I left it all out on the field, all out on the court, man, I can't do nothing but, you know what? I had a good day. Some things happen. I'm glad for the network. And this is another thing I want us to talk about, how important it is to have like-minded people you can call on to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, am I tripping? Because sometimes we get in our feelings, like, especially me being a female, and I gotta speak about the female thing. Sometimes females are more emotional than men in this business, and sometimes and it can work both ways, but sometimes I have to check myself that, because no matter how much the social media, the agenda of this world to push the female at the top and be above the man and all this agenda, man, accept that you're a female, and I might ruffle some feathers, but I believe in the order of things, how God put things around. It's a man's world. People say it's a woman's world because that's what they try to show you. But at the end of the day, it's a man's world. And you got to play accordingly. Respect is the number one thing. Carry yourself like a lady and you'll get further in life. Then continue. Like, I'm not against the boss movement, boss chick and boss this and boss that. But kind of, there's a respect level that has to go somewhere. And
I'm,
Glenn, I know
I'm,
you didn't
I'm,
expect that right now,
no,
but
listen. I'm not going to get in there, but listen, go ahead and talk that talk, sister. Talk that talk.
no, hey, I'm trying to release some pressure off some of these women trying to go out there and try to be the man. No, I need you to be the woman. If you can focus on being the woman, if you can focus on being the wife, the mother, there's nothing wrong with being that way, the way God created you to be. Now, nobody said the career is not good, but man, certain things have to fall in place. And a lot of women are not talking about that because either they're scared or they don't embrace their womanhood. And once again, this could be that viral moment. I don't know, but I'm not asking you to, but I just have learned in the series of things, especially in this man's world, especially in finance and real estate, the further I go to the top, the more I realize that no matter how much we push this agenda, and like I said, I believe in equal rights, or equal pay. I believe in all that. There's a respect level, but I have to also recognize what God put in order: man, woman, kids, in that order. And I'm not detouring from it.
well, well, y'all heard it. She said it, and it's done. No, but listen, I mean, I look at things like that, and there's some people that are not going to agree with what you said. And by no means am I a what's I got to use these words wisely. I advocate for women's equality in everything that we
Me
do. I'm
too.
all with that. I'm all with that. At the same time, though, like you said, that there's an order. Now, in what we do in real estate, there's nothing that says that women can't do what men do. I'm not saying that women
Oh
can't,
yeah, absolutely not.
but when we're talking about as it relates to the order of things, I mean, it is what it is. I didn't write the book; it's written that way, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, the
but
only reason why I say that is because a lot of situations that I've seen in the past, I support a woman in business, and I've even in the real estate game, I know the conversations that go behind the scenes. I know what women have to deal with in the real estate game, finance game, or whatever a path of the career. There's problems on both sides. But at the same
real talk.
time, I have to talk about that because I'm a woman in the game and I see the issues that prevail every
Mm,
single day. And it makes people uncomfortable. I like to push the envelope because to me, a lot of
mm,
times people say, well, I avoid conflict at all costs. Well, no, conflict brings conversation. It brings resolution. It forces people to
whoa.
talk about it, and there's a lot of issues out here, but that's neither here or there. That's not what the show is about today, but I have to just recognize that was one of the reasons why I did get on the call with my support system and say, hey man, am I being too emotional? Am I being irrational because something wasn't done a certain way? And to
Mhm,
be honest with
mhm.
you, out of four people, all four people said the same thing. It's a respect thing. I would have never done it that way. And if if between me and you, if you tell me I have a contract for you or I have a house, go see it at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I go there and see it, and you say, okay, well, send me the earnings, and I got to deal with you. And then somebody comes behind me and gives me a higher offer, gives you a higher offer, you're still going to honor my contract. I know that between you, John,
Let's
and 10 other people I do a business with on a regular basis.
let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's tell the folks kind of what we're talking about. And I'm gonna break down the situation that I dealt with that was something similar to that. But I definitely want to give a shout out to a couple of folks that are on here with us today. Mr. David Moore, thank you for joining us today, sir. Thank you for jumping in. Mr. Walil Archer, my man Walil, it's time for us to do something together, man. We long overdue, man. So let's definitely make that connection. But I want to talk about the specifics. Like we ain't got to give it names or anything like that. But I want to give the people an idea. I think I lost her. Well, she'll be back. I do definitely want to give people an idea of the thing or the situation that came about that you dealt with on yesterday. So we're gonna talk about that. Um, and okay, she's back with us. All right. So let's talk to the folks. Let's tell the folks what you dealt with on yesterday as it relates to a deal that you were working on. And then I'll share kind of the experience that I had that was similar to that. And then what I want to get into talking about, like we're talking about this whole respect thing. I want to talk about the market that we're in today and how if pieces aren't moved in a certain way, how it might affect, I'll use that word, affect how we do business. So share with the folks a little bit about what that situation was on yesterday, and how what was the outcome of it.
Okay, so I'm going to make this disclaimer because probably some of these people are going to be watching this show. I
Mhm.
am not taking it personal. Number one. Number two, it just took me back because I'm just not used to doing it that way. But anyways,
Mhm.
um, so yesterday was Tuesday, right? So
Yes.
Monday evening, I get a text from a wholesaler, sends me an address, and once they send me the address, now let me put this in context. This wholesaler has been sending me stuff. I've never closed deals with them, so I don't have a track record with this person closing deals. So I have to make that disclosure in his defense because you have to let people know where maybe this person's mind was. So I'm not sitting here to bash him. It is what it is. But this person sent me an address. Okay. Usually when I get an address, if I don't want it, I pass it on to another person or whatever and see if we can make a deal happen. He's been sending me probably lots in a couple places. I tried to partner up with some builders. It didn't work. So those in the past, I've never responded in this manner. This
Mhm.
particular Monday, I get an address to a property. I look at the numbers. I'm excited because I see the potential of the property. I'm like, I can't believe this is a perfect deal. I was actually glad I got it. Fortunate to
Mhm.
get this deal. And it was one of those deals that you have maybe every 6 months or once a year. Just the numbers were just that good. So I automatically, in my mind, I gotta get it. Okay.
Mhm.
So the next, I asked him, "Hey, what time do I? Can I do a walkthrough? I need to see pictures. I need to see the house." So I scheduled an appointment for the next day. The price was already set. Okay, 250. If the price was already set at 250, that's what I'm going with. Now, mind you, in my mind, now when his mind, he probably sent it to other people and he has the right to do that. I did not put a contract on it. I didn't give him earnest money. I'm literally going to see the property, but I do have a contract and I do have earnest money with me. And I agreed to the terms that I will close it next week on the 28th. Okay. So I knew that in order for me to close it on the 28th, I actually called the contractor. I called a funding guy of mine. Let's go see the property all together. And I'm ready. Like I literally wrote the contract out already. I wrote the earnest money out. I'm closing with your attorney. To me, once you give me those information, that I know that, hey, I'm actually gonna close this deal. I've already
Mhm.
got my people on the phone, set everything up, ready to get this done. Well, when I get there, I see what is going on, what it needs, and I walk the property. I call the person back. He was not there to meet me. He sent another individual. So when I get there, I'm excited. I'm like, man, I'm closing this thing on the 28th. But I said, let me see what type of wiggle room he got from the 250 because I know what type of work he needs. It doesn't even need a lot, but let me see. I always try. I'm always trying to make a deal. Well,
Mm-hmm.
automatically when I get on the phone, the person got defensive and said, well, uh, in this climate, in this market, you should not be negotiating down. You should be coming up. I got somebody else really at 260, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What you mean you got somebody else at 260? Let's work it out. Like, okay, I said, well, if you don't want to do 250, mean just go with the 260. I go back and forth. I think about it. I said, you know what? No, I came all the way down here. There's a level of respect you got to show me for coming down here. You were supposed to meet me here. You couldn't, and I respect that. Everybody got their own thing going on. Well, anyways, eventually, I went back and gave him 267. I know the other person probably gave him 260, 265, whatever the case is. The only thing that bothered me, once I get on the phone with him, he's like, well, it's 8 o'clock. Why you put me in this spot? You know, this kind of hard. I closed with these people before, so I'm going to go with these people. So I had a conversation with this individual, and it's fine. Like, it is what it is. He told me, he was like, look, man, I don't owe you nothing. I've never done business with you before. This was after me and you talked. He said, I don't owe you nothing. You were just another person. He was like, I sent you deals before, you didn't close on them. And I'm thinking to myself, you sent them to me, but it was never got to this point where I'm actually coming to see the place. I'm actually doing all these things, but it's okay. That's what you want to tell yourself, because he has a right to feel that way, right?
Right.
So he said, well, you know, I closed with all these other people. I got to feed my family. I'm like, I respect that. But and he said, well, you know, I was going to go with my original buyer anyway. So maybe you were my backup. So when I heard backup, that's when my emotions were like, what did you just say to me? I don't expect you to tell me I'm your backup because you've never done business with me. So I have to think from his side too. I don't expect him to respect my line, but I told him not to put me on his list to send me properties again. I said, do me a favor. Don't put me on your list to send me property because you already have buyers. Good for you. I want you to make money. I'm not hating on him. As a matter of fact, if somebody wants to ask me about him, his name, I'm gonna say, man, he's a good dude. He didn't hurt me. He didn't harm me. It's just the way it was handled. I don't do business. And then when he said, well, in this market, you need to come up, the way he handled me, bro, I've been in this game for so long and I ran into so many people from the streets to the church house, to the palace, to the White House, to the prison house. I've been to every house. Let me put it to you like that. I don't even want to name the other houses, but I'm saying to you at the end of the day, all I'm saying at the end of the day, game recognizes game. I get it. I don't know, like you wasted a little bit of time that is very precious to me and everybody else. If he got more money and $10,000 was worth his relationship and that got everybody paid, bro, I respect it. But this situation, I just wanted it to be a teaching moment. It just so happened it happened to me yesterday, and it's happened before. Some deals go through, some deals don't. As a matter of fact, more deals fall apart than go through. So I don't want people to be like, oh, she's bitter because, you know, she didn't get the deal. Bro, listen to me. If I showed you my contracts right now that I have on the table, trust me, I'm not suffering. But at the same
We're gonna
time,
talk about the 42 that's already just hanging out there. The 42, you know.
we're not talking about the 42. We're not talking about the 42. But all I'm saying is the point I'm trying to make. I think another thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong if I say this, the further you go up in certain situations, there's certain things us as individuals don't need to be doing. And what I mean by that is certain, like I should have just had somebody else go out there and look at this house. Okay. And I admit that if I would have never went and got my stuff, because I have an emotional attachment now to the situation, it was like I should have never went. Like I have no business going around certain situations no more. Not because I'm CDD, not because I still go. I'm Saturdays. I'm driving around. Like I find jewels all the time. I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm just saying in certain situations at certain points, I'm not going out there no more. For what? For what?
If I can, like, I want to make sure we bring this thing full circle so people don't miss what the point of all of this is, right? I mean, you gave some great insight to what the situation was. I'm gonna give an example of a situation that I dealt with, and I want to bring it full circle so people can gather truly what is the real deal here. But I have been told uh,
Commercial.
that I have
Commercial
to
break.
play my commercial. So we'll be right back after this. Hey, what's happening, folks? Many experts will tell you that you can get into the business of real estate investing with no money and no credit. And the question I ask is, if you bought into that, how's that working out for you? Right? My name is Glenn Glasper, and I've been in this business for 23 years. And what I find is most of the people that get into this business with that type of mentality, only 0.001% of them have any level of success, or let alone close a deal. Most of the people that become successful understand the importance of leveraging credit and leveraging money, as well as leveraging time, and not just doing one deal. If that's you, I created a video on how you can become successful in real estate investing. Now, this is not for the people who don't want to invest any money or don't want to invest any credit. This is not for the easy crowd. This is for the people who are open to investing and open to leveraging their resources. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll certainly see you on the other side. Go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll see you on the other side. Go ahead and click on the link. Did you hear me? I said click on the link. See you on the other side. All right. Thank y'all for hanging out for those messages. Yeah, my team is like, yeah, you got to do it. Don't you got to do it? Anyway, I want to give an example of a situation that I dealt with that was very similar to the one that you dealt with. I called a guy about a property that he had for sale. Went out the same day. I went out the same day, looked at the property, and a partner of mine came with me. We looked at the property, walked through, and I was like, okay, this will work. The numbers weren't quite where they needed to be, but I said I would make it work. And then I called up the guy and I said, send me the wiring instructions. We had agreed to use as a closing attorney and everything. I'd already had earnest money and everything ready to go. But I said, instead of just sending the earnest money, what I said to him was, go ahead and get the wiring instructions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire over the entire amount of what you asked for the deal. Right? I'm thinking
that's a
that
lot
does it.
different.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking the full price of what you asked for hits a little different than just earnest money. This is what I was thinking. And I guess maybe people don't understand how that works. I don't know. And this was Friday. And I want to, I can verify with text messages. I sent the message. It was getting close to the end of the day. I said, send me the wiring instructions of your closing attorney. I even emailed the closing attorney because he told me who it was. I Googled and found out who it was. I Googled the closing attorney, somebody I never closed with before. Emailed the closing attorney asking for their wiring instructions. He got back to me by the end of the day and said, well, you haven't sent over the earnest money. I said, well, maybe you don't understand. I'm not just trying to send earnest money. I'm trying to send the entire amount. Like, we're not talking 5,000. We're talking about 205,000. Okay, the whole deal. I'm gonna wire to your closing attorney, and didn't hear back from him. So Monday morning, I'm giving him, being, I guess, respectful of time, giving them to 9 o'clock. I call him up 9 o'clock Monday morning, and I said, listen, I didn't get the wiring instructions from your closing attorney, and I didn't get the wiring instructions from you. Is there any way I can get those instructions from you so I can wire over the money for the deal? He says somebody else had put in the earnest money that morning, so they get the deal. Okay. Okay. I mean, I guess I honor him. I honor him honoring his word to whoever put the earnest money in first. I get it. I get it. However, at the same time, I was a little taken aback. I said, wait a minute. Well, maybe I didn't explain what the full amount means, right? I thought that if I said the full amount of what you asked for, I thought that would have been elementary, but apparently not. Um, but I wanna kind of tie those situations in together. Now we're talking about respect. We're talking about different types of things, and I have to kind of equate this to street game, right? I ain't never been a dealer, so I don't know how the whole process works. But I hung out with a lot of them, so I got kind of a little insight being out of sight, I guess. Um, the
Excuse me,
code in
everybody. He's from Detroit. I just got to make that
yeah, right,
he's
right.
from
I'm from
Detroit.
Detroit,
Got to
so
let people
you
know.
know. So I
That makes
know
a
about the
difference
game,
because these
not even
Atlanta
being in
cats,
the game.
right? Atlanta calls it gangster. You really don't know what gangster is till
You
you
better
go to
tell
certain areas.
them. So the code is like if you give your word should be your bond. Now, of course, I mean, yeah, we're human. We miss it sometimes, right? We make mistakes. But if you give your word should be your bond. There was an old saying that we got from one of our hood legends, Scarface. All I have in this world is my
Is your
balls and my
name.
word. And it's just and the thing that we've been standing on for the last 10 plus years, at least in the network of people that I've been dealing with for the last amount of time. You build your business in real estate investing on your reputation and your relationships, right? And
Right.
you only got one or two chances maybe to keep a good relationship and a good reputation, right? You might make a mistake and you can rebound from that. Maybe two or rebound from that. But what I look at is relationships are paramount to what we do. And in the
Mm-hmm.
situation where you say to someone, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to honor what I said I was going to do, thinking that because you and I, we're accustomed to doing things a certain way, that's a code, that's an honor code. I said, I'm going to do it. This is what my intention is to do. I guess people can't eat intentions. I get it. Um, but at least give me the benefit of the doubt based on my reputation, if not my relationship with you, to give me a chance to do what I said I was going to do. It might take a little time. I might miss it. I might make a mistake. But at the end of the day, when you talked about track record earlier, if it's a matter of, somebody said this to me yesterday. Shout out to my sisters, the Briggs ladies. They said, Google me. If you have any question about whether or not I'm going to perform and do what I say what I was going to do, maybe I'm not all over social media, but if you have any question about what I said I was going to do, Google me. And I tell anybody, pick 10 people out of any people that's in my friends list, Instagram. People on Instagram, we don't really know each other, but people on my Facebook, pick any 10 people, and I guarantee you, well, I believe 9 out of those 10 people, I don't know what the 10th person might say, but 9 out of those 10 people will say we have a good relationship, or at least a decent relationship. And it's things like that, and not to beat this horse to death, but it's things like that that I believe you and I stand on, that we believe that based on those relationships and that reputation that we've built, that there should be some level of, maybe respect is a strong word for some people, but at least some level of recognition of saying, okay, Casiana's been around for this long and she's done A, B, C, or D. And based on the people that I know that she's networked and connect with, I know that she can do what she said she was going to do. Maybe I give her the benefit of the doubt and build a relationship with her, and not just be, because people say, I like he said he has to feed his family. I get it. But do you feed your family today on one deal, or do you feed your family for a lifetime based on a relationship that you built with somebody that you gave your word to, that you were going to do what you said you were going to do?
You know
That's my
what? I'm
moment.
gonna say this. That word code, and I don't want to disrespect the millennials. I don't want to disrespect. If you say to a young person in the game what the code of the game is, they might think you're talking about coding algorithms and coding on the social media. They don't even know. Like me, you say there's a code to this thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? We were brought in a different generation, so I don't expect them to understand. Now I can
Yeah.
teach you if you want to, but and then let me tell you something. Another thing is, back in the day, we had to meet face to face. we had
Yes.
to spend time with each other to know
That's
what was
totally
going on. We
different.
actually had,
Yeah.
yeah, and we actually had to pick up the phone to have a
Yes.
conversation and see what's going on in your life.
Yes.
So I went on based on, people are going based on what you show them on social media, what type of car you drive, what type of
Hmm.
situation you're in your face. I already know how many kids you got. I know if you're married, if you're cheating, if you're a baller, if you're a shot caller, if you're a pretender, whatever the case is.
Right.
People
Right.
are drawn to these algorithms. That's the only codes people got, is algorithms these days, the codes to an algorithm. And that's what they base their relationship on. So therefore I can't really be upset because more and more houses are divided these days. There's nobody mentoring everybody like it used to be back in the day. I value relationships with people that I can actually call, not send a text
Hmm.
message on social
Yeah.
media, not hit you in my DM. When I hear people talking about DM me, I'm like, wait a minute, bro. I'm 41 years old. Call me. Let's talk about this, because let me tell you
Right.
why.
Right.
A lot of assumptions could be made through text messaging. A lot of
Oh yeah.
assumptions could be made
Oh
through
yeah.
DMs, postings, and all this other stuff, man. Talk to me, man. I'm a human being. I want human interaction, because you want real money exchange. I'm not buying a house on Bitcoin right now. So
Right.
I'm being, I'm being honest with it. But I have to respect the level of how these kids are raised. And even if this person is my age, bro, I don't know how you were raised. Now there is a respect level where, if let me tell you something, I've gotten houses before and I've asked, who did this house come from? And
Hmm.
because I knew where it came from, or hey, does anybody else looking at, because I knew, I stepped back. You know why I stepped back? Because I have enough respect to be like, man, they got it. Go with them. You know how many times I've
Right.
coached people through deals? I didn't make a dime just to honor their words, make sure this person got the house. People don't know to
Mm.
this day that I know they got this house. Why?
Yeah.
Man, my job is to plant the seeds. I'm building ditches out here. These ditches that I'm building will be filled with water one day. All of them, not just one, not just two. I have to be consistent in what I'm doing. And I don't expect everybody to understand where I'm coming from. My job every day to wake up is to be the best version of Casiana that can be in business, in a family setting, in a spiritual setting, and it is what it is. Now, could it have been handled different? Let me tell you something. This person might have not thought about our conversation yesterday and might have thought about it. I don't know. Do I care? To a certain degree, because you are a person in Atlanta market that is doing business. And let me take let me take 5 seconds to talk to the, I always say, is the hustlers of Atlanta, because in this moment, let me give a shout out to all the hustlers that come out of state and come to Atlanta, because this is where you can really look rich on a dime. And you come out here and hustle the Atlanta market and mess up the game, mess up the comps, mess up, you raising money, you doing all these things, and you preaching, and you capitalizing on people's emotions and circumstances and whatever the case. I don't know what your why is or your drive is or what you're doing, but man, you're responsible for people's souls as far as where you taking them to. And if you wake up with a clear conscience every morning, getting over on people, man, God bless you. I pray for you.
Mm.
I pray for you and your whole
Mm.
organization, because there's people out here that wake up every morning to pray on the next individual. You're not waking up with good intentions. You're taking a cause that's out there and capitalizing on a movement that you don't even care about, but you see people give into it. You see people's hearts into it. And I'm gonna tell you like this: it's just like the crooked preacher. It's like the crooked president. It's a crooked governor. It's a crooked. There's a crook everywhere. Systems
Mm.
are broken because there's people involved. The only thing that's perfect in this world is God's love. So I understand that we are all flawed, and I make mistakes on a daily basis, bro. I am not
Mm.
perfect, and I'm not gonna sit here and put my nose down on people. None of that. But the code that exists out here between our generation,
Mm.
man, if you tell me I'm gonna go, I'm gonna give you 24 hours. And if you don't come through and I say, hey Glenn, I had to go with somebody else, man, I gave you a day, you'll respect it. You have no reason but to respect. I even will place a call and be like, "Hey, man, I need about 4 o'clock today. If you ain't, you know how many deals I lost out on because I didn't do it in the time they gave me because I
Mhm.
couldn't do it, and it is what it
Right.
is. I'm not upset,
Right.
but at the same time, there's a level of respect, and let me tell you, everybody's definition of respect. I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to love me. I don't need you to do none of that. But you're gonna respect the fact that if I tell you I'm gonna do something and I have to prove a track record, maybe this person might come in directly with the deal and I don't know it's from him and I'm gonna close and then be like, dang, let me go apologize or I don't even need an apology. Business
Mm.
is business. Let's get to it. But at the same time, what happened yesterday? What happened to you? Like you just said you wearing the whole contract amount. Like what?
Mhm.
Compared to your $1,000 earnest money? Hey man, it's like
I
trying
was
to tell
I was
a
too
a, a
slow.
person that I don't know.
I
I
was
don't
too
even.
slow.
There's no
I was
words.
I took too long, I guess. I took the whole weekend to get the money. But and like even the situation you said that this person said that they were under pressure, they needed you to close in just a few days, right?
The 28th.
And right from the what was it, 22nd to the 28th, so like 6 days or something like that, was it? And you agreed to it. You agreed to all the terms. Everything was in place. All of the things that they asked for, you agreed to it. Now, in a common sense world, maybe common sense is not common for everybody. In a common sense world, if I agree to give you everything that you asked for, that right there to me, in my opinion, says done deal, right? Maybe okay,
But
you
but
asked for a
see,
couple
but
different
can I
items.
ask you a question so I can stop you right there? Can I ask you a question? Do
Mm,
you think if he would have told me I was his backup, I would have went out there?
no, I wouldn't
Okay.
have.
That's the only thing. Let me tell you something. He didn't have to go with me, even after he
I
gave me
wouldn't
all the
have.
terms. If it's the fact that you said, well, you were a backup anyway. What are you crazy? Are you gonna sit here and tell me I was your backup anyway? Now I'm gonna tell you something. A smart businessman, if he had to choose between me and a person with a track record, I would have chose the person with a track record. With all
Right.
due respect, I probably would have done the same thing he did. But it's the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I don't think he understood that in my world, I don't get in my car and drive from Alpharetta to
Real talk.
downtown mid traffic to go look
Real
at. I
talk.
don't do that. So I don't think because he does not know me, and he once again he stated that I've never done business with you before,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Okay, but let me tell you something. The person that you sent to the house to meet me, that person knew me. And he knew me longer than about the same time that John knew me. So that's 20 plus
Mm.
years. So
Right.
at the end of the day, it is what it is. But like I said, it's not even about this particular situation. This happens all the time. We're only
Yeah.
highlighting this. So I don't want the person to feel like I'm attacking you. I'm not attacking you, bro. I want you to get to your money. I respect what you do because that's what I owe you, respect. I don't owe you nothing else. But I will highlight this point because it has happened before. It just so happened I got on the phone with you, talked about it yesterday, and it just so happened that today you were like, "Where are you at?"
Brilliant. Oh, okay, okay.
I
And
turn my car
I want
around.
to make sure it's understood that this is not just about that situation, right? This is about
Yeah,
those
that's why I
types
want to
of
make sure the
situations,
person doesn't.
right?
Yeah, it's not about
Yeah,
you. It's
this is
about a
about those
situation.
types of situations, and it's just a matter of how do we do business with each other? How do we continue to make things work well for one another? Because at the end of the day, listen, this is how. Let me say this: some people do this for fun, right? Some people do this because they need to make a couple dollars to pay their bills. All that is well and good. But there are some of us that do this in real life, right? Like some of us, this is how we live. Like this is our career. Like this is our retirement plan. Like somebody asked me about a
Yeah.
401k yesterday. I was like, I think my wife has one, but I ain't got one. My 401k is
Mm-hmm.
the addresses. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what my 401k is. So for those of us that live, eat, live, and breathe this thing, it's that level of identity that we have with what we do, that we expect that for some, and maybe I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak out of turn for you, but for this being what I do, like I don't do this to make a couple dollars. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
no, I don't do this for to make a couple dollars. Like I had to really switch things up in my mindset, and I'll be honest, it was just a few years ago where there was some recognition. I would realize that people are, oh, you doing this, you doing that. Okay, all that's well and good. But I'm like, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't do this for popularity. Like I
Mm-mm.
don't do this for people to like me or because my legacy is my name, and my name starts from my children and my children and my children's children's children. That's what I do this for, right? Because I don't want them to have to
Mm-hmm.
start from scratch when they get to where they're going. So when you look at somebody who lives this thing for real, and then you compare that to somebody who just need to make a couple dollars, they stuck on, they need to make $10,000 on every deal they do. I'm like, I don't. Okay, I'm good with making $10,000 on every deal I do. I'll take it if it's there. But if I got a relationship with you, and I can make a win-win, even whether or not I got a relationship with you. If I can make a win for the person I'm helping out of their current situation, which is the seller, a win for me, and a win for the person whom I'm selling to, I'm looking at building a relation on both sides. If I got to take $2,000 cut or $5,000 cut to keep those relationships that I'll foster, that will be more valuable in the long run than just that $10,000, that's the route I'll go, right?
Yeah, but
Because
see, Glenn, so let me say this. What if you see how you said that this is a career or whatever? I believe this person does it for a career as well, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm,
I think everybody's level of building relationships is different. He built relationships with the person he went with. And I respect that. Like, like I
mhm,
don't have, once again, he built that rapport with them. He knows they can close. He would have took a bigger risk on me because he did not
mhm.
know, but it was the fact, the way it went down. Now, I'm gonna say this: the market will turn.
That's what I
Mark
was
my
getting
word.
at.
The market will turn.
That's the
And
point I
when
was
the
making. Yeah.
market turns, because I'm gonna be honest with you, in 2008, when the market turned, I was really left alone out there. And
Mhm.
at that time, I was closing deals as an agent, making 200, 400, 500, $300 on a closing because the properties were 10, 15,000. I literally had to ask the bank, hey man, you gotta throw me $1,000, bro. Like I'm going all over the place.
Mhm. Uh-oh. I think we lost her again. Um, thank you, brother Walil. Thank you. But listen, hey, these are the things, we're gonna get Casiana back on. Then we got a special guest for y'all that are hanging out with us past the 1 o'clock mark. I got a special guest that's gonna be coming on at 1 o'clock. I'm actually gonna tap him to have him come on up. Um, but these are the things that I just want to reiterate the point that she's making about oh, there she is. Okay. About the changes in the market. That when things change, you got to watch what happens. I want to go ahead and let you finish that off, what you were saying.
What I was saying is when the market crashed the first time in 2000, I don't believe the market is going to go down that way. I think it's going to stabilize itself, just like the market is going to have a correction. That's like everything else is going to stabilize at one point or another. But I want to see how many hedge funds and how many people with a lot of money are really going to have your back when you really need to make certain things happen. Who can you call at that hedge fund after 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night? Who are you going to be able to call when you got a situation and you need some money to close a deal and all that? Because you've relied so now. If you build your nest egg and you closed and you made $1 million with the hedge fund and you reinvested it correctly, but let me tell you something: what goes up must come down. That's number
Mhm.
one. Number two, I've seen the loyalty of these hedge funds. At the end of the day, you're just a number, just like in the corporate world. When you go to work, you're just a number, you're just another quota. And guess what? They
Whew.
stroke your ego so good and make you think you the best and you the number one person that brings them properties and everything else. And let me tell you, they got 7 other ones just like you. They stroking the same way, having the same conversation. And as a matter of fact, they probably talking about you at the lunch table because they just want to just talk about something because they don't have anything interesting to talk about anyways. So I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it's relationships that will sustain you in a bad market. Relationship will sustain you when you have a bad year and you're going through a divorce and you're losing everything. Sustain you through coming out of prison, sustain you going through a bankruptcy, sustain you
Mm,
through all the bad things, through a crisis of health. It will sustain you. Relationships will
mm,
sustain you, not the hedge funds. Relationships will
whew.
sustain you to say, brother, today I'm not feeling it, and I don't even want to write up another contract. I want to get out the real estate game because I'm sick of this. But relationships tell you, man, do you know who you are? Keep pushing, man. Let's get to it. As a matter of fact, do you want to come on this deal with me, man? Because I got something for you. I might not split my whole thing with you, but I got you $1,000. A relationship will call you and say, man, let me pay your phone bill because I know you're going through some things. A relationship picks up the phone call at 11 o'clock at night when you don't know
Mm,
which way you going because you this pressure of being this individual that you're not is pressuring you into living up to these people's expectations. So relationships over hedge funds and people with big track records will under will go under. I'm telling you, I've seen it.
mm,
I'm
mm.
not against anybody that has beauty in their life and is fit or anything else. And I tell everybody when they get in a relationship, time tells on everybody. When you get in a personal relationship, when you get in a personal relationship with a person, you'll see the girl with makeup all the time, pretty, hair did 5 different colors, looking good for you every time. And as time goes by, the person gets more and more relaxed. Then you don't see them on lashes no more. Then you don't see them on makeup no more. Be like,
Nasty.
dang, do I still like this person? And as time progresses, you realize, did you fall in love with the look or the friendship? So don't get
Wow.
it twisted. It's the relationship, the friendship, the
Yes.
bond, the
Yes.
conversation, being vulnerable and naked. Can you be vulnerable before a hedge fund? Hell no. They'll be like, man, go to a therapist and we'll see you later. It's the relationship that will keep that going. So, hey
Yes.
man,
Yes.
I'm not again. I work with 3 hedge funds right now that I love them. Like they're easy to go to. But what I'm saying in retrospect, us little people, I'm a little person. Us little people,
Mhm.
man, I need a relationship with a person to sustain what I got going on.
Real talk. Real talk. Hey, listen, I got to go back to what Brother Will said. Talk that talk. Hey, I mean, it's real. It's real, and that's the thing for what people might miss in this thing, you know. And again, I said it in a comment that I made before. Like, if you're in this just for the money, you know what I mean. Like, there are some people that are in it just for the money, and when I say money, meaning that they don't care what somebody else situation is. They don't care. Like, you know, they're gonna get all the money that they possibly can out of the deal, and I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, what would your name, what would be said about your name? You know what I mean? Like, what's your legacy? You know, yeah, when you talk about generational wealth, but what will your legacy be? What will people remember about you? That what you contributed. You
Whoa,
see what I
whoa,
mean?
whoa, 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 whoa. Did you say legacy? So
Yes.
let me say this. The most important thing is what will your kids say about you?
Boom. Yes.
What would your kids, what would your wife, what would your husband say about you? What would your mother, and let me say, not everybody gets along, and it's not about proving anything to anybody, but a real
Mm.
legacy is, yes, you're leaving all this wealth, you're leaving all these things behind you, and the relationships, people will mourn after you when you're gone. And man, I wish I could call Glenn right now or whatever. Casiana, man, she has these one-liners that would just put you on your, just make you laugh all the time. Whatever, I get that all the time. But I'm saying to you is the most important thing is the relationship with your kids, your family, and those who matter. And the most important when you become a parent It is about that child and that legacy that drives you, that makes you wake up sometimes, give you an extra because your son is looking at you like, I gotta be a role model for this child. That's legacy. And
Mm,
you sit back and you look and say, okay, legacy is what do my kids say about me first, and then everybody else comes after that. And what everybody else says to me, it doesn't matter if it's just an opinion or something emotional, but it matters when it comes to integrity and character, and when it comes to being what you said you are, a believer in Jesus Christ. Those are the things that matter, because at the end of the day, those are the things that are going to sustain the next generation. That's why I say, you tell a person right now that's a millennial or coming behind the next generation, like if I have children in the next couple of years, like I'm gonna be 43, 44, that generation right there will not know about the code mommy's talking about. It's
mm.
literally, they're thinking about computers and metaverse, and God knows what's gonna happen 40 years. What type of verses we're, I'm thinking Bible verses. These people talking about metaverses. We're like, hey, can I have some verses? Be like, nah.
Well,
Psalm
listen, let's
23,
hope that
5.
there is still some type of actual, we talk about code. Let's hope that there's some type of internal code that
Right.
the next generation possess as it relates to, just wanting to help one another, wanting to continue to do things in the way that things need to be done. We talk about collaboration and doing things together all the time. I hope there's still some type of even in the world of where we're going in the metaverse. I haven't been in the metaverse yet. I keep hearing people telling me I need to get into it. But when we're disconnected from each other naturally, and then we're attempting to connect digitally, where social media, where we don't touch people, we're not around people anymore. um so much of that is going to continue to happen, but I still hope that we don't lose sight of connection, of lose sight of helping, like building one another up and encouraging one another, and continuing to help each other in the situations that we deal with. Because at the end of the day, again, like you said, relationships are going to ultimately be what can help continue to do what we do. And yeah, it's business. Yeah, we don't always have to get emotional about doing business, but it's still a way that we can still work together to help one another. And it don't always cost us something. It doesn't always cost us a dollar amount of something to be able to help somebody, or to be able to contribute something to someone. Think about it. I don't get paid to do this show. Where's my sister? Oh, there she go.
When every time somebody calls, I gotta get high tech like you. I gotta get a camera and stop doing this from my phone. And as a matter of fact, we will have a conversation about that, because I'm doing more and more. I'm like, I gotta ask Glenn what type of camera he uses, because every time somebody calls, it throws me off. But
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
the one thing I do want to say when it comes to the metaverse is, can you sleep in the metaverse?
I have no idea. I know it's
No,
it's a rhetorical
physically.
question.
Can I take my body into the metaverse and go to sleep? No.
Not at
So
all.
I
Not at
think
all.
that's just. I believe there's a lot of money to be made. It's just like anything, NFTs, and I'm not discounting that, because guess what? I'm learning about it. I already have an
Right.
avatar. I'm getting into some of those things because of the level of understanding that I'm trying to acquire with it. But once again, I don't want to lose human connection. I don't want to lose human interaction. And phones are still made to call, not just
Mhm,
text. And
mhm.
people don't know how to have conversations anymore. They feel awkward. I value people that give me their time to talk on the phone, or whatever the case is. I value that. I think that's why I was so big even yesterday, by taking the time to go do these things. And I don't want nobody to lose. I mean, I just think more things could get done in that matter with the human connection. And metaverse is gonna come out. Maybe another planet is gonna come out. I don't know what's gonna come out. Something else is gonna come
We're
out
going to
sooner or later,
Mars
because it
already,
evolves.
so
Somebody's gonna come up with a blockchain. Is gonna come up
uh-oh.
with a different type of chain. I don't know. It's a constantly evolving. But I don't want. I think today's show was really to just touch on how important it is to value understanding and even getting an understanding, because maybe I misunderstood something. I always want to take accountability for what I've done, or maybe if I miss an, I'm constantly evolving, constantly learning. And then one thing you said to me yesterday, and I think I need to start embracing this. Um, it's okay for me to say that I've been doing this for a long time. It's okay to say that I do have a level of respect out here. Like, I never want to be put on a pedestal, because I don't want that. Anytime somebody puts you on a pedestal, that's where you get knocked down first. So
Mm.
I don't want to, because people will put these expectations on you. I don't put expectations on me, and I don't
Right.
want to live by other people's expectations. Like,
Mm.
it's my life, and this is how I want it. But I think sometimes you can have false humility too, because I had to
Mm.
ask myself, was that false
Mm.
humility by like, man, I'm just humble? Well, if I was so humble, why did I really get upset yesterday? So I had to really look
Mm.
up false humility. I had to look up, I'm self-evaluating at all times, because I want to grow as an individual, and I want to call my own stuff out. I don't want to
Right.
wait for the next person to be like, man, you arrogant, or man, you ain't what you thought. Like, I don't want none of that. And like I said, I'm not looking for people to validate. But in retrospect, looking at all these, and once again, I'm making a disclaimer. It just so happened the situation that happened yesterday. Yeah, I'm not knocking the individuals out. And especially one individual I've known since high school. It's just a matter of, it was a moment that we needs to be discussed, because I'm not the only one that went through this. I mean, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in the car business, whether it's in stocks, whether it's in business, period, this happens all the time.
Mm.
Hey girl,
Mm.
I'm gonna come get this hair from you, or I'm gonna come get these waist trainers from you, and you went to the next person, or it
Mm.
happens like this. Your word is your word. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, because I believe kids see, learn by what we do, not what we tell them. Kids
Mm.
also pay attention to how we interact with other people. So the way
Absolutely.
you raise your next generation is, if my daddy or my mommy is not holding her word with these people, what does it mean? Well, she comes through for me. But at some point, it develops a psyche you trying to get them to have a business and maybe run your business one day, or a legacy you leave them, and they're gonna do it the way you did it. And if you
Mm.
didn't do it right, you setting your kid up for failure.
Right. 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 Wow. Listen. It is always, it's always a pleasure to have you come on here, because I know I'm gonna learn something. I appreciate the folks that come on, and appreciate the people that are watching. Thank y'all for joining us today. Shout out to see that's the thing. I ain't the only one. My man Michael says I like her. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for joining us today. Listen, I thank y'all for coming in, but I'd say this: if don't nobody else get nothing, this is all for me.
Well, I'm gonna say this before I know we're gonna wrap up, but I think in this show, what I wanted to get really.
Oh, she had another call come through. Um, Again, I truly want to thank y'all for joining us today. Thank y'all for joining me on the show. Thank my loyal people for hanging out with me today, or hanging out with on the show consistently. Thank y'all for jumping in.
Listen,
You were
Glenn.
saying something?
Let me make this, because I know, man, your stuff is. I'm gonna have a camera ready for you. I'm not gonna do it from my phone, because we got cut out at least. And I'm so surprised it only happened this much. And I'm thanking God for. I prayed. I said, Lord, please don't let nobody call me in this hour. But before we go out, what I really wanted to highlight one more point that is really important. Um, it's important for OGs in the game to realize that sometimes certain markets you have grown, and it's okay to step out of Atlanta. It's okay to step out of your comfort zone. And if you want to grow, you got to go in different markets. You got to go outside of Atlanta. While people coming to saturate Atlanta, I always was a person that went against the crowd. Like, if the crowd went one way, I went another, because I'm not gonna sit here and fight over territory. I know there's plenty of money out there, and that's where you draw a level of respect as well. When you realize that there's money for everybody to be made, when you realize that there's plenty of money for everybody to be made, when you realize that you have to constantly evolve, there's no such thing. I'm not in competition with nobody. What belongs to me and my family and everybody else. But it's okay to step out your comfort zone. It's okay to step out of this market. Go to Detroit. Go to California. Go to Vegas. Go to Houston. Is popping real hard right now. South Carolina, Florida. Like, it's okay to come out these markets
I'm gonna
and
say
grow.
don't y'all come to Detroit.
No, don't go to Detroit. And me and Glenn got it.
But
Me
listen,
and Glenn
that
got it.
is the perfect setup for my special guest that jumped in with me. That's the perfect setup. Listen, Casiana, thank you so much for what you do. And listen, I'm gonna tell the folks to put some respect on your name if you don't, because I know what you bring to
No,
the game.
sir.
I
I'm not
know.
Cash Money Crew.
uh, but listen, thank you again for joining me. Hang out if you can. But I got a special guest that's coming in with me. Um, Another person that I got a ton of respect for. Listen, that's why the show today is going to be extended because I got some stuff that we definitely need to be talking about. We definitely need to be talking about what's happening in the market. And then you talk about going outside of your comfort zone. I have to say, I was fortunate to be given the opportunity to take my talents back home from where I came from. And I was given an opportunity by a childhood friend of mine, a classmate of mine, who just happens to be, and I'm going to say this, the mayor of one of the best cities in the country. uh, I'm going to bring him up and we're going to talk about some of the things that we working on. Uh, Mayor Wembley, are you there with me, sir?
Oh, there he
All
is. My
right.
guy. How are you? Hey man, salute man to you and what you're doing, man. I'm so proud of you, Glenn, man. Like you said, I mean, of course, us being childhood friends is, just beyond respect, beyond love. We're family. But man, you're doing the work, brother, and then that's what's the important part of it. It's like, we have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, but when you meet people that's like-minded, that's really doing the work, that's putting it in, and then, that heard the call as it relates to, putting something back home, and willing to bring, like LeBron, bringing your talents back home, bro, I salute you and I applaud you and I stand with you. And I'm looking forward to, all of the wonderful things that we're going to do in the city of Inkster.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, listen, I got to make sure folks get this, man. I told you, as I told you, when we finally solidified what we're going to be doing in the city, I said, man, I've been trying to do this for 20 years. And my brother, Mayor Wembley said, say less, let's do it. And he answered, you answered the call, brother, as well. Like for me, like I was telling the people when we talked the last time at the event that we hosted before, I said, what I'm thinking as a mayor, I'm saying this to a mayor. I don't know what mayors do. I'm thinking, okay, I said this to somebody who I have a relationship with, but I'm still gonna have to go through the channels, right? I'm thinking I would still have to go through the scheduling and a meeting with the assistant's assistant and go through the red tape to get, go up the chain of command and all that. Brother said, let's do it and it shall be done. And when I said let's schedule a date, you said it's done.
Yeah,
And
man. Well,
as a
I,
result of that, I just want to
go
say
ahead.
this real quick. So many people from that event, lives have already begun to change as a result
Oh,
of
praise
realizing
Wow.
God.
what's allowed to happen in that city.
Wow. You said it right, young lady. Praise God. I think everything that we do, we put him first and, everything, it just works, I wake up every day like, and this is just this is so cliche, for me, but I wake up every day and just say, what would Jesus do?
Mm,
Like period. It's like being the mayor. I thank God that I'm actually able to be the mayor of our hometown, which I believe is one of the most beautiful places in the world, as it relates to being a congenial neighborhood, a congenial city. Just welcoming all people. We like the little South. We're the South of the Midwest.
yes.
But Inkster is primed, man, for what you're doing, and then of course, just how everything that's happening within the country, for it to really become a model community for what we can do for communities that look like us across the country. So hearing, that people like you said their lives have already changed already, man. That's the goal, and that's why I pride myself in trying to be accessible. As much as I possibly can. I'm gonna tell you, as the mayor, especially of our hometown, I walk out my front door and I'm the mayor. It don't make a difference where I'm at. I could be in church, I'd be at a funeral, somebody talking to me about something that they dealing with. It's just what it is. So, but I thank God that He's given me the aptitude to be able to, and patience to be able to, say, hey, what is it that you need and how can we help? Because I believe that that's the mission at the end of the day. Again, like what would Jesus do? And every day I live like that. So for me, when you called me, it's nothing in between us. Let's make it happen. Because I know that you're about the work and you're about service, and you want to see people shine. Period. Whether they're in Inkster, whether they're in Atlanta, and they're all in between. That's just your heart, brother. So again, I stand with you, and I'm looking forward to all of the work that we're doing, man. And you were phenomenal. Let me just say this, by the way. I know we don't have no script, so he ain't paying me for this, y'all.
Right.
When I say that, I was in awe because Glenn is my childhood friend, like he said, and we've had some childhood memories that we won't share on this platform. And be like, okay, them guy, I get people all the time like, you the mayor, like,
right, exactly.
So for Glenn, man, it was like for me to sit in the audience and wow, just the delivery of the information, and being able to, really translate that information to where it's transparent to, I had my son in the audience, man, and he's 17 years old, for him to be able to say, wow, Dad, that dude is interesting. Like, oh, but we can really do that. Like, so for anybody to be able to, for me sitting there listening, like, I try to do things where, especially when you're in front of an audience, number one, know your audience. And then number two, be able to translate that information where everybody can get it. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the room got it. And and they're looking forward to it. I mean, they're hungry, man. Let me say this, that Glenn, I told him, I said, man, I think we won't do it again this, on the 26th, man. I think that's too soon, man. Let's try again in April. Well, I don't know. I know he heard me 100% because he called me like, no, Mayor, we need to do it now. But I got another like 10 calls. I got another 10 calls from people, like what's going on with the thing? I haven't seen you post anything. Right. Like, when y'all gonna do it again? So I know that people that weren't there, they heard about it.
Yeah.
And then of course, people that that came, that's looking for the next segment, that's looking for the next level. And the way that you delivered, brother, I was so proud. Because I believe that everything that you do, you try to do it in excellence. It don't make a difference if you're sweeping the floor or you're building a plane. It's just as human beings, we should have pride in our work. And you, brother, I know it's not work for you. It's definitely pride. So I'm again, that's the thing for me, standing with you, saluting you, looking forward to hearing from you on this Saturday, here in Inkster. And just continuing to build. So I don't know what else more we can say outside of see you then. But brother, any other questions you have for me or anything you need for me to do, I'm here for you right now.
Thank you. Listen, I just want to say this, man. It's one thing for us to grow up together and us to know each other, but like you said, we've had like we know where we from. You know what I'm saying? Like no. we're not surprised at where we from, but we as a result of where we from, we are surprised at what we've grown into.
No doubt.
Grace. It's by God's grace that you and I have come to where we are now. But I definitely want to say this though. I thank you with everything that's in me for trusting me. You see what I mean? For trusting me. Yeah, you can see what people do on social media because people can make it look good. but trusting me to come and stand in front of I'll say your constituents. It was our our audience that we have a relationship, but your constituents that trust you to bring in a cat like me to be able to share something with them, and now to see that the transformation is possible. I thank you and I salute you for that, man, for trusting me, for being able to come and deliver a message to be able to help those people. I appreciate that.
Man, outstanding, man. I tell you, when we had all walks of life in the room,
Yes.
from people that are financially well off, that are major investors, and
Definitely.
builders, people that are actually contract builders of major development, to
Mhm.
people just like, hey, I just want to find out how I can buy a house,
Right.
and,
Exactly.
and you
Exactly.
touched everybody, within
Yeah.
that time that was allotted. So I just know that as we continue to build, like you said, out of the 100 people that came, if we can get 10
Yeah.
that that can transform their lives from the information that we've given and we put up before, mission is accomplished, brother. So
True
thank you,
story. True story.
thank you, 100%.
I want
Thank
to
you,
say,
sir.
that
Oh,
I am taken back by, and I have such a level of respect for this conversation to be taking place, because um, just knowing, being in the trenches out here and seeing certain things, you guys are blurring the lines between the political and the people, and to see two
mm,
sides of the world come together
mm,
and actually
yes.
making a difference and actually caring about the human heart and human being and building the legacy in that manner, it is so important, and it starts somewhere. And if this relationship right here can be track to where other people can take notes from you guys, you can impact so many cities around you guys, around the world,
Definitely.
around the country. Because if you see the political climate that we're in, and it's never been the political and the business and the human interaction has never been really a great success. But by the grace of God, you guys were able to
Hallelujah.
make this happen. And this is what real relationships are about. And when you
True.
have God at the
True.
front leading you and ordering your steps, this is the result of when you know what
Yeah.
belongs to you, and the strength comes from above. And to set pride, to set titles to the side, to set accomplishments to the side, to come back and give of yourself and to pour back into communities you knew you could make a difference. And it's not going to
Mm,
be easy, because when you're in the business of people, emotions, feelings, problems always get in the way. But to push through those barriers, I commend you and I encourage you. And I will take on the task to pray, because I know that when you're set out to do certain things, certain obstacles do come up. But to push and to see this come about, I am very grateful to see this coming through.
Wow.
thank you.
Wow.
Man,
That's
listen,
it, man. That
listen.
wow.
As I tell people, I have people come on this show, man, that I got a
Whew.
lot of respect
Spirit
for. I
of
always
God,
tell them,
man.
you're not gonna make me cry on this show.
Yes. Yes. Come on.
You're not gonna make me cry on this show. But I want to tell folks, listen, for those of y'all that are tuning in, for those of you that are catch
Hey,
this later, don't forget this coming Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get registered. The link should be in the description. Get registered. Listen, the mayor said it. I didn't say it. I think I do okay when I teach, but you got a man that's running a city said that the information
phenomenal.
is valuable. I
Phenomenal.
definitely want to be there. Wherever
Tap
you
on
are
it.
in the metro area of Detroit, come on
Mhm.
out. Take a listen to what we're talking about. There's some things that you can contribute as well, some things that you can contribute to the community. The mayor has got some. Now, listen, we talk about the share information that I share. We ain't even talking about the stuff that he shared. Like, there's some opportunities that are happening in the city that folks really need to know about. You really need to be prepared to take advantage of some of the things that are going to be happening. This gentleman has made some things accessible. I love that slogan: clean, safe, and accessible.
That's
He's
it.
he's making those things accessible to people who may not otherwise know about these things. So definitely come out March 26th. Get registered, because we want to make sure we have a seat for you, because seats will be filling up fast. They're continuously, we get new registrations every day. Get registered so we can have a seat for you. And we will see you this Saturday at what's the address to the complex again?
2250 Middleborough Road.
Okay, yeah, 2250 Middlebelt Road this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to be doing the bus tour. I can't remember. Give the sponsor's name for the bus tour again, sir.
American International Academy,
Yeah,
one of the best schools within our community. They're when I say dynamic, and everybody that we took through the tour, man, I believe that they've taken someone else over there
yeah,
just because it is what it is, man. So we're gonna pretty much simulate the same thing again this time around.
definitely, definitely. Come out this Saturday, folks. I look forward to seeing y'all in the place. Man, is there anything else you want to share before we jump off?
No, man, just again, man, thank you again so much for answering the call. Again, I put out a call as the mayor. This is my first term. Was elected in November 2019, went straight into COVID.
Right.
Been in COVID for, for the most part, 20 out of the 28 months I've been in the seat, for 24 months of it is been COVID. However, it's given us an opportunity to build and to create those alliances to bring back home, because I called out everybody.
Mm,
Inkster's a wonderful place. It's 6.2 square miles, man. I believe God built he built the universe in 6 days and rested on the seventh. If you put him first with all of his people, I know that we can build our community within these next 2 years.
absolutely, absolutely.
Amen.
All right, listen, I said Inkster ain't gonna look the same in the next 2 years. So y'all better
Mm,
watch.
mm. You better know it, baby. Love it, man.
Thank you
Have
very
a
much,
great
sir.
rest of your day. Very nice meeting you, young lady.
Oh,
I look
Casiana, I'm
forward to
sorry,
Nice
you.
meeting
I
Casiana.
look forward to seeing you. Look forward to seeing you in person one of these days.
She's gonna be on our roster. She's gonna be on
There
our
you
roster.
go. I love it.
She will be coming with me to share some information.
Love it, brother. Congratulations. Keep doing the
Thank you,
work.
sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for those encouraging
Thank
words. I tell
you.
you, that means a lot. It really means a lot. All right. Have a
All
good
right.
day, Glenn.
All right. Talk to you,
See you,
sir. I'll
brother.
see you soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Glenn, you already
Casiana,
Glenn,
ma'am.
Glenn, sir. Not only do I have to upgrade my equipment, sir, I'm so proud of you. I am
Well,
really,
thank
really
you. Thank
genuinely
you.
proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Because you told me this was gonna happen, and I seen it happen. You spoke it last year sometime, and I
Definitely.
remember the last time we saw each other in person a month ago. You were like, "Man, you got to come see this." So to actually get to see it, hear about it, man, I'm so grateful for you, man. And if everybody reach back to just get that one, I believe that we can change a
Definitely.
whole world. And it just takes that one. And that's why I told you, Glenn, don't despise small beginnings. And what you're doing is not
Yes.
small, because this show has impacted somebody's life, number one. And you give us a platform that have come up with you to be able to get this message across. So to fact that to put all this stuff to the side to reach back and grab somebody, man, I commend you for it, and I will keep you in prayer. And man,
Hey, listen.
rocket faith.
Not for nothing, not for nothing, and I know we can probably give each other accolades all day long, but this ain't just like this comes from people like you. I know that are praying for me. This
Yeah.
comes from those times that we boohooed on the phone together with you encouraging me. You know what I mean? Like I want people to get that. When they look at, and this is why I say it's necessary for people to at least, if not respect, if respect sounds too much of a strong of a word, at least appreciate and recognize the things that people like you and I have to go through to get to. You see what I mean? The things that we have to go through to get to accomplish the things that we accomplish. It's a journey. It's a journey. I mean, it's a marathon. It's not something that, when we say 20 plus years, that ain't coming from, everything was all great. Yeah, we had to go through some hell most of that time, but we still here.
And I want to say, I want to mention one thing for you, because you have such a heart for the people, and you've always been this way. But I want to make a distinction between you and maybe others. We didn't start helping people when we started making money because we need a tax shelter.
Right.
That's number one. We've helped along the way, and our visions never change. My vision at 19 did not change when I said that I would go out here and teach kids how to be entrepreneurs. It did
Mm,
not change at 20, 21. It didn't change at 30, 35. With all the setbacks in my life, it did not change my heart I had for the youth. It never changed. It never changed. I've always had a heart to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. It never changed, no matter how many grown up situations I had to go through. And the same
mm,
thing with you. It never changed, no matter where you are in life. You were always helping. So I don't want people to say, oh, now you in real estate, now you going out to give seminars and help people. No, you genuinely were helping people from day one you got in. You brought in people
yeah,
with you. It just so happened that God opened up other doors for you to be able, because he trusts you with the next room. First, he
definitely.
trusted you with maybe a small 3x3. Now you in a
Hmm.
30x30. And
Definitely.
the where you level up, this is not just a tax shelter. This is not writing off something. This is your time that you putting back into your community. So I want to make that distinction, because I believe a lot of people will say, well, Glenn, you made it. Now, all you do is speak around. No, Glenn always spoke to one person or 100 people. This was something consistent you've done throughout the year. So I have to make that distinction, because this is not, oh, a childhood friend. You've always been that person. Nothing, the mission has never changed.
Mm,
Circumstances have, but the mission never changed.
true stuff. True stuff. This is for those folks that don't understand reputation and relationships. That's why you
Yeah.
got to keep your reputation and your relationships in order so that you can get to that 20-year mark of doing what you want to do, or at least banging the nail on their head, and then getting to the point of being able to serve people on a higher level. And that's
And
what
you've
I've
been
always.
consistent.
Definitely, that's what I've always been. I've come to do. And it's probably a little bit. We're gonna get into the Bible too much. Not too. I don't know if we can ever get it too much, but I want people to get this, and we gotta get off here. But this is a part of what when I learned what really tithing is. Right? People equate tithing to just being money. When I come to understand what tithing is tithing of your time, your talent, and your tenth. You see, and these are the things that, when given the opportunity to tithe my talent and tithe my time, when given the opportunity, this is what I do. And I'm not, I'm gonna say this, and the mayor, he will tell you nothing different. Nobody has paid me anything to come and teach these people, right? I
Yeah.
my reward, now, of course, now there'll be some compensation because I get the opportunity to work in the city. Let's keep it 100. But what it does for me is I still get an opportunity to change lives, right? Some of these people who will get information from me will never pay me a dime, right? Nobody's offered me to do that, pay me for this, that, and I haven't asked anything, because what I want to be able to do is truly look in the face of people that are looking for something to get them to a different level, and be able to offer them that information, even if it's just a little bit of information, and that can change the trajectory of not only their lives but their family lives, then I believe that I've done what God has called me to do. And I will leave it there. Casiana, thank you so much. I have to say, it was necessary for you to be on this show today.
I see the ending to
It
it.
was
You didn't even
necessary for
tell
you to be
me.
on this show today. Even though, listen, that's why we have to trust that God don't make mistakes. I had a situation with the other guests, and you were able to fill in, but you came in true fashion and do what you always do. You shine like a queen is supposed to, sister, and I thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for
And
having
listen,
me.
my man Walil, listen, Walil, I'm gonna be in contact with you. If it's not today, definitely in the next couple of days. We gotta do something. Walil, one of those superstars that you got to make sure you keep your relationship tight with
Yeah.
him. 'Cause, Walil blowing up. So I don't want him
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
forget about little old me when he gets away.
Yeah. There's
But
people
sister,
out
I love
there.
you. I thank you,
Thank you.
and I look forward to us making some major things happen together. And This has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, y'all, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we certainly bring you real life real estate solutions. Thank y'all so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.